Hi all, Dr. Snexer here. I had a few questions from students about comparing these phylogenies and trying to determine which ones are the same and which ones are different. And so I thought I'd just run through this example that we had done in class and allow you to see sort of how I would work through this to determine if any of these cladograms, these phylogenetic trees, are similar or different from each other, because we can rotate the different clades, the different groups, and still have equivalent trees. So we need to be able to determine how to do that. So let's start with looking at cladogram A. So looking at this tree, we have 5 different groups of frogs here. And if we want to compare this to the other trees, what I would do is look first at some common ancestors. So on this tree, we see that Bufonidae and Dendrobatidae, the Dendrobates, share a common ancestor. So I'm just going to put a node onto this tree, a little red node, where the B and the D branches come together to represent that common ancestor. We can then look for that same common ancestor on the other trees. So again, here B and D, they're sharing a common ancestor. So I'm going to put a node right there, that red node. Here on cladogram C, we again see B and D sharing this common ancestor. They're in slightly different orders, they're in different spots, but it's still the same branching pattern, still the same node, still the same common ancestor there. Let's go down to D. We see the same thing. D and B together sharing an ancestor. Here it is in the middle, but B and D are still sharing that common ancestor. And again, here we see them sharing that common ancestor. Okay, so far, just looking at those two groups, it seems like all of these trees are equivalent. But let's look at the other relationships. So I'm just going to pick a new color here. I like to color code things. I'm going to go to the far side of cladogram A here. And I'm going to look at the C group and the H group. C and H share this common ancestor that I'm putting here in blue. C and H on cladogram B share this common ancestor, okay? So again, they're in different order, but they're still sharing that same node, that same common ancestor, so these branches would be equivalent. How about over here? Yep, looks to be the same. C and H, they have that same common ancestor. How about over here? Wait a minute. C and H are not branched together here, right? Their common ancestor would be back here, and the Leptodactylidae, the L group we'll say, is in a different spot. So we're missing the blue node over here, so I'm just going to put a little blue question mark to remind myself that we don't have that same node there, giving us an idea that this is probably different. All right, how about over here? Yes, we have C and H sharing that common ancestor, the little blue node. And again here, C and H. Okay, so far D is looking a little bit different than the other 5. But we have to keep going. We have to look at all the other relationships too. So I'm going to pick a new color. I'll pick orange. No, too similar. Let's pick this purple pinky color. And go back to our cladogram A, and we have this node to look at. I'm putting this pinky purple color, where we have Leptodactylidae and the C and H groups sharing this common ancestor. So these 3 branches, right, share this common ancestor here. We have the same common ancestor here, so I'm going to put this pink node here. How about over here? No, we don't. See how the L group is with the D and B over here? We do not see that they share that same common ancestor, so I'm going to put that pink question mark there, because this branch, should be over here if it was the same as A and B. So we have a different node here, a common ancestor that predicts that L, D, and B share a common ancestor, not L, C, and H. So my little pink question mark. How about over here? are L, C, and H sharing that same common ancestor? Well, yes, but no, right? Because we have this strange branching here. So I'll put like kind of a maybe there. It's a different relationship that we have predicted. So it's not exactly the same. And here, let's see. L, is it with C and H? No, it's not. It is not. We are missing that node here. Is L with C and H over here? Yes, it is. All right, so at this point, I would conclude cladogram A, cladogram B, and cladogram F are all the same because they have those same nodes. They're just sort of rotated around differently. What about these three? Let's see over here. Well, we have the L group sharing a common ancestor with the D and B group over here. Do we have the L group sharing a common ancestor with the B and D group over here? No, we do not. So we're missing that node. And how about this one? Do we have the L group sharing a common ancestor with the B and D group? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So I would now conclude that E and C, again, are the same because they have the same relationships amongst those branches, but they've just sort of been rotated around a little bit. And then D, cladogram D, is sort of all by itself. That one's not like the others at all. And so if you are answering these questions below, which of the following phylogenies shows relationships that are different than all the others below? Well, that would be D. And then which phylogenies show the same relationships? So A, B, and F show the same relationships, just twisted and turned the branches a little bit differently. And E and C share those same relationships, again, just twisted a little bit differently. So I hope that helped in understanding how to read these phylogenies. They honestly are not my favorite, as everyone in my class knows. But it doesn't mean they're impossible to do. You just have to sort of think about it. And I always encourage you to write things down, use different colors as you're doing it. And that really helps you to understand this, in this sort of spatial way. All right, so if there's any more questions, you can always email me at any time. Good luck on exam 3.